Hello, welcome to Celebrate Southern Africa. My name is Dawn Denton, and today I have a very interesting guest. Dorian Uys is based in South Africa, and she is in the Gauteng area, and she'll talk a bit more about where she is. But most importantly, Dorian does such a valuable job that so many of us, especially living abroad, would love to know that she is there to help our friends and family when they need it. So, Dorian, you have a really special title in the job that you do. What is that title?
Morning, Dawn. Thanks for having me here today. Yes, my title is companion carer, which I spend quality time with my clients. I take them out for lunch. I do different things and activities with them, and I add value to their day and brighten their day more often than not.
Oh, I've just got goosebumps when you say that because there are so many people who feel quite isolated and maybe even a little bit overwhelmed with the world that we live in. And for them,
Mm.
it's really tricky to do the basic things. So tell us a little bit about the kinds of clients that you currently have and that you're helping.
Okay, I currently have one or two dementia ladies that can't really do things anymore for themselves. So when the one at the ninth hour discovers she's run out of what do you call those things? Those incontinence pads. I then order from Checkers 6060, which is just such a win. So I can order from the comfort of my couch and it gets delivered directly to her within minutes, within half an hour. I also do hands-on shopping with people. So I have one lady who's very slow, and I walk with her. And while she's looking at one thing, I'll run to another aisle and grab another thing. So it's just easier on her knees because her knees give her endless trouble. That we can do it in half the time. That then we've got time to sit and have a cup of coffee and chat, and that's how I add value. Yes.
And so how often do you tend to see your clients? Do you have certain days that you booked in, or do you just go when they need you?
No, I kind of do a bit of both. So I've got one lady, bless her soul. I'm hard at hearing, so I wear hearing aids. So she finds me very loud. So she can't deal with me. It's too funny. So so I only see her when I need to. So like if she's ill, then I'll rush her to the doctor and I'll be with her and I'll give the family feedback. Um, and then I've got ladies that I see twice a week. And then I've got certain I see once a week. And I've got a gent that I see once a week. I also do home visits where I'll play board games with your loved one and that kind of thing. Yeah, so I'll basically that's how I operate at the moment.
So have you always been somebody that just brightens people's days? Have you always been the one, the go-to person when people need something? Or is that something that's just developed as you've got older?
No, I think along my life's work, because I was a secretary before this, so I'm very much a hands-on doing person. I will do anything and I will get roped into doing anything because I have gullible written along here. Uh, but it's all good because more often than not, I enjoy doing it. So yes, I've got a wealth of information. And if people want a gift for their loved ones, I have a gifting service that I deliver to a few times a year to one of my clients in the UK. And then I deliver to her mom and her sister living in South Africa. So I've got a variety of different things that I do. And yes, I've always had a caring heart. But my passion is definitely old folk and to just brighten their lives and lighten the load because they struggle. This whole Zooming thing, this whole internet thing, and a lot of them don't understand the whole video calling. And I've done video calls with their families where I can hold the phone for them and they can see their loved ones, which
Oh,
is just a delight.
that is absolutely just heartwarming. What do you think is the reason that so many older people are feeling so lost in the world that we live in? And I know that there's a tech issue, but do you think there's a cultural shift in the way that we are spending time with our loved ones? Or how do you think the world has changed?
I think a lot of it is busyness that we just don't prioritize. We just are too busy doing our thing to take an hour because it won't be half an hour. It's never half an hour. With older people, it's never quick. And I think that's the biggest thing. The biggest trouble in South Africa is a chunk of our children have left and gone overseas. And their parents are left here to fumble through things that they don't understand, and they don't want to worry their children. Whereas if I'm here, I can sort it out. I mean, I have a lady, bless her soul, who can't see very well, and her husband passed away 2 years ago. A big bank wouldn't do his will because he didn't have enough finance that he was leaving her. So they said, no, sorry for you, we're not doing it. So I walked with her along the road of finalizing that will, of getting payouts from insurance companies, of going to the Master Supreme Court, fishing through piles of wills to find her late husband's will, So I'm not afraid of getting my hands dirty. The only thing is I don't do nappies.
And as long as it's legal.
Absolutely.
So Dorian, how do people contact you, and what are the most important things that they often ask you to help their families with, especially if they're abroad? Is it just to be there at the end of the phone if they need something, or do some people say, I would like you regularly to help my mother with the shopping, or my father to go and see the hospital? Or what are the most common things that people ask you, specifically people who are abroad?
Generally it's a once a week pop in and visit, and to see how they're doing and see what I can help them with. Old people are stubborn, hey, my old folks are stubborn. They're not keen to have me come into their space if their children have decided this. So I just had a conversation with a meeting before yours, and I was saying, I don't understand why this lady won't let me in and let me help her. But now I've realized, because she didn't decide. So the biggest thing is just say, for argument's sake, just tell your loved one that this lady's here and we just want to know that you're okay. Because as much as the old folks say they're fine, more often than they're not, they're struggling with something. And it's hard for people 20 odd flight hours away or 9 flight hours away to pick up how their parents are doing.
So what's the best course of action really for them if they say to their mom or dad or their parents, Dorian's going to come and help you? Now, that you don't want the word help, because like you say, they might
just assist you. I mean, I use the word assist because then I feel it's non-threatening, and I can pop in for tea. I think this lady that I've currently acquired, she's got 2 children in Sydney and 1 in the UK. I think it's going to take weeks before she turns around to the fact that, okay, maybe Dorian isn't too bad after all. But at the moment, she feels, I'm coping fine. I don't need you. But you know what? I can add value. And sometimes they don't see that. It takes a while for them to see that.
So is that how the initial process is? Maybe just to pop in and have a cup of tea and just meet them, and then feed back to the family about how you think that would work, or that relationship would work?
I think much yes. I mean, I've had previously in the past, they've passed away now, a couple that the one had Alzheimer's, the other one had dementia. And their family just said to me, go and visit once a week. They would tell me what they needed, the home that they were at, and I would shop for them and just invoice them accordingly. So how I generally work, if I see a need, I'll buy something to go to that client, and then I'll build a family. If it's a big expense, then naturally I will get there okay first. But if it's like 200 Rand, I just buy it and then say to them, look, your mom needed X, Y, and Z. And generally they do agree and they do understand. I will not rip people off. I have incredible integrity. I don't know. Yeah.
Because we also know that the world doesn't look after old people very well. And there are lots of people in this world who take advantage of the elderly.
Well, that's the big thing, yes. Yes.
And I think that's a big fear with people who live abroad, because they think, oh God, who are these people?
Yes.
And what are they going to do? But also, a lot of elderly will not tell their children if they have been taken for a ride, or if somebody
100%.
has done something that they didn't agree with. So what is the kind of communication that you have with a family? Is it instant? Is it often
I do
WhatsApp?
via WhatsApp.
Okay.
I do everything via WhatsApp. I email the invoice at the end of the month. So what I do is I have like a little slush fund that then I pay in advance for whatever needs doing. So if I take your loved one for tea or coffee, I send you the entire bill. So they pay for my coffee or cake or whatever as well.
Absolutely.
And I add that to the invoice. And then at the end of the month, I invoice people because I just find that easier. So I keep a diary that I write everything in, and then I have till slips and things that I then reconcile at the end of the month, and it all works out at the end.
And that's where your secretary experience comes in.
I think so, hey, I think so. However, sometimes those till slips can get a bit overwhelming, but I write on every till slip, I write whoever's name it is, and yes. And I mean, I've
Okay.
got one lady that wants a magazine once a week. So that's also a nice thing for somebody overseas to get me to buy, say, the U magazine, because it's now 50 Rand, which to most pensioners is a lot of money.
Mm.
And it's just got short enough reading that if you struggle with your eyes or anything, it works, you know. And I pop in and I give the magazine and we chat a little bit about the magazine, and that's a way in the door.
Absolutely. But also a way for them to get to know you a little bit better
Yes,
and
for
for them to
sure.
just feel more comfortable with you. So that might be the
Yes.
beginning, is just, um, because again, 50 Rand is a lot for a pensioner in South Africa, but it's not really a lot for people in the UK and Australia and the US,
No, not
to
at
make sure
all.
that that happens,
Yes.
and every week or whatever it is.
Mm.
I often wonder um what the situation is like in South Africa for elderly, because my mother passed away 10 years ago. So, obviously things have changed. But do you think that they are more frightened? Do you think that they are, or do you think that they've just accepted that life is difficult for them because they're older and the world is just different?
A lot of my ladies just feel it's more difficult, that they only focus on today because they find it quite overwhelming to think about everything, further down the line. I plan terribly, so I can book an appointment for 3 months' time, and I've got a lady in December booked to go see a specialist. But I think old folk get quite nervous, and that's another thing. That somebody ripped off one of my clients, that she had gone shopping and she went to draw out money from the ATM, and they stole her card. But she didn't see that because the other person was talking to her. So now, with me being with her, there's no chance of that happening because I'm there, I'm watching, I'm monitoring, I'm helping her. There's no way that something like that would happen again.
So if it's somebody who's a little bit further than where you live, and you obviously don't, you might not have a slot to go and visit them, is there another option that families can maybe just have you as their contact person in South Africa to ring their mom or dad or their family, if that's what's needed? What are other options that you can offer?
I can certainly phone their family. I don't mind at all. That's not a problem. And then I just bill them for my time and the call, naturally. I kind of estimate the call price because I don't even know anymore. I get so many minutes a month. Yeah. So I can do that. Or I could call on your loved one once a month, to go there with like a little care package that could include some nice coffee sachets, a nice slab of chocolates, and just a few little goodies just to brighten their day.
Oh, can you just come and visit me with a nice little hamper and have a cup of tea
There
and a
we go.
cake?
There we
So
go.
hampers, as you mentioned, that's another option, isn't it? It-
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Shame. I've got a client in the UK that's family had a fire and a horrific fire. So I did a care package to the sister of this brother that's really ill. And at least now, yeah, they feel like the people overseas are still with them, although they're far away. And I think that's so important for the elderly and for my old folk to feel that they're not forgotten.
And do many of them still get around? Are they driving, or are many of them just
No, no,
homebound?
no. I'm the driver, hey, Dawn.
Okay.
No, no, no. Most of the people that I help know, shame, bless their souls. I've got three ladies who have macular degeneration and they can't see very well at all. I mean, the one lady I really noticed in December when we went Christmas shopping, when I went to pass her a card and she was grabbing in the wrong place. And I thought, wow, then you clearly cannot see. You
Yeah.
know, I think so often we just think, oh, our parents are fine, our parents are fine. Until they come for like a 3 week visit and then they realize, wow, mom has aged, or goodness, dad can't do this like he used to before. So, yes.
Like you say, they don't want to bother their children because their children have their
Mm,
lives and they feel like they don't want to be a burden. So,
yes,
so
exactly.
Dorian, you are just an absolute angel. And I just think that there are people abroad that would love to know that you are there to help their parents and their loved ones. It might not be parents, it might be sisters and brothers, it might be,
Yes.
friends, even just friends that are isolated. How can people get in touch with you? I'm going to pop your details, obviously, with this video. So we will have your details,
Okay.
your WhatsApp number. Is that okay to make that public?
That's perfect. I have a Facebook page that they're welcome to visit and see more what I do. But generally WhatsApp is ideal. They're welcome to email me, but I'm a bit slack on the email. I need to up my game there. But they can
That's
email
because
me.
you're busy running around. That's
Well,
why.
exactly. And I'm looking and thinking, oh, I forgot to reply to this message. So that's why WhatsApp is the best.
Okay, so I'll pop that down. But what is your email address, just in case people just want to have a quick little connection with you, maybe arrange a call at some point to
100%.
talk
That's
to you.
fine.
So what is your email address?
It's careawhile@gmail.com. So it's care a while all in one at gmail.com.
Fantastic. And your Facebook page is also Care a While.
Yes, yes, yes.
Lovely. So now tell me finally, why old people? And why have you just fallen in love with this demographic?
I think it stems from my late granny. My late granny was very blind. She couldn't see. She would only recognize you when you started speaking because she would see a blur. And I spent many hours with her, and she lived with us for 3 years before she passed away. And I think, oh, I just loved her dearly, and we could chat about things. She was very much, and I'm very similar to her. We both baked. I love baking. I bake treats for clients often. I bake little cakes. I do all sorts of things. But I think because they're also forgotten often.
Yeah.
And I think I can relate to that because of my deafness. I often feel excluded and I often feel left alone because of the fact that people, yeah, I'm loud because now I can hear. And sometimes, yes, I can be loud. So
And also
I'm not too bothered. It's the other people that are bothered.
they
But
can connect
yes,
with
I
you
think
as well because there's an element that you understand them specifically if they also have a hearing issue.
oh
And
yes,
that's a lovely
yes,
opener as well, isn't it? Well, I'm a younger woman than you are, and I know exactly what it's like to struggle with your
100%.
hearing.
Yes, yes, yes. And also even with their eyes. I can relate because I have the same thing happening with my ears. That they will not get better, they'll just deteriorate and we just upgrade the hearing aid. And at some stage I've got to have a cochlear implant, but I'm avoiding that at the moment. I still want to hear my son's voice and I still want to hear my mother's voice. So yes, I think that's why
Wow.
I'm passionate about old folk.
You are an absolute angel. Dorian, thank you so much for joining me today. And I will pop all the details here along with this video because I know that there are going to people who want to get hold of you. And I really look forward to hearing more of your stories because I always love your lovely stories of how you've helped people and the difference that you've made to their lives. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Dawn.